Hello? Hello, hello. Anybody in here? Hmm. Hmm. Hello? Hello, 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 hello. Man, this is driving me nuts. Hello? No, I think next time I'm gonna just do this, just upload a video because this is just so chaotic. Um, hello, people. I know people probably start coming in now. This is Lisa. Doing the kickoff. We started the kickoff for the mental health awareness. Um, Hold on for a second. Hold on. Can you see me now? I mean, can you see me? Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Is everybody? Oh, there we go. See, there we go. See, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was having technical difficulties. Um, Everything decided it didn't want to work, so I had to go get my laptop. So I apologize. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sherry. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Quint. Okay. Whew. I'm glad I resolved the technical difficulties. I apologize, guys. Really, I am. It's just everything decided it just didn't want to work. So I had to go upstairs and get my laptop. So my bad. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, thank you, Quint. How's everybody doing tonight? We started off the mental health awareness craft along event yesterday. And I have to say, Cheryl and Sherry, it was awesome. Hey, Cheryl, you know, it was awesome. I enjoyed it. Um, I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to, more of this, you know, providing my technicalities stop acting technical, we be all right. Anyway, like I said, this is, we started off the mental health awareness craft along event yesterday, and we will continue on until the 15th of June. Am I correct, Sherry? We'll be till the 15th of June. But I got something brewing in my pocket for maybe within the next year or two. Okay. Within the next year or two. So I'm a cooking up or something, for mental health, you know. And this is really, this is really important, because, you know, with the recent passing of, Naomi Judd, and then not too long ago, Regina King, her son committed suicide, you know. So this couldn't come at a better time, unfortunately, that this needs to be talked about because mental health is real. It's real, and sometimes we have, thank you, Cheryl. Um, Sometimes we have, um, those underlying issues, that maybe we see or maybe we don't see, or maybe we just don't know exactly what it is, you know, that can lead us down a dark road. You know, I have a question to put out there, because I was just watching a Hulu show called The Girl from Plainville, and it's based on a true story. Do you think that somebody that antagonizes another person to commit suicide, do you think they should be held legally responsible? I say yes. You know, what do y'all think? I mean, it was a good show. I never heard her story until I watched it, but that's the question of the night. Exactly. Exactly. Let me thank you, Cheryl, because I meant to put a disclaimer on this one. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. I'm just a crazy crafter that, I deal with mental health issues as well. And I just wanted to, I'm glad that this event brings people together to talk about a safe spot to talk about whatever it is that they're mentally going through. Now, I will post in my link, the numbers. Um, I will post in the link after the video, the numbers and stuff for like National Crisis Hotline, Suicide Hotline, even the Veteran Crisis Hotlines. If there's any vets out there that's going through, you know, just know that there is help out there, you know. But see, uh, right, Cheryl? I think you should. I think there should be. If you know that this person's tinkering on the edge of suicide, and you encourage that person to go through with it, and you're getting mad at him and having an attitude with them because they haven't done it, to me, you're like a murderer just without having to do the murdering, you know, because you're now encouraging somebody to take their life instead of going the opposite way. But yes, Cheryl, I agree. They should be held to account. You know, okay, now I feel like Cheryl Squirrel. So I was going somewhere with that. But anyway, um, okay, what is everybody working on tonight? I should have just I should have, but I got so tied up with the technicality, I got befuddled. Yeah, I'm like Sherry, squirrel, squirrel. What is everybody working on tonight? I'm actually working on an Ann Stokes uh Little Helpers. I'm actually trying to finish. I'm almost done with it. I want to be done with it by weekend's end. Yep. 50 Shades of ADHD going on over here. you know, and I touched a little bit on it like last night when we did the live, how, substance abuse and mental health issues, they do go hand in hand, you know. There you go. Yay, Sherry. She's working on her positive rules cross stitch. Go ahead, girl. I ain't mad at you. Uh, but you won't catch a needle in my hands. Ah. Um, but damn, there goes those squirrels again. Um, I talked about it last night that substance abuse and mental health issues go hand in hand. Now there are two categories. You got the Cami and the Micah. You got the Micah, which is the mental health, chemical abuse, and then you got the chemical abuse, mental illness. Now, in my case, oh, cool, Cheryl. I was a Micah, and basically what that is that I was trying to drown my symptoms from my mental health illness with, drugs, you know, trying to drown out the symptoms. Now, Cami, on the other hand, Cami is chemical abuse, mental health issues, and that goes geared to like the hallucinogens, where you don't have a mental health issue, but by the time you done messing with the PCP and the angel dust and the acid, you will, you know. Yep. Okay, Sherry. Um, you know, but some of y'all know my story, but I'm gonna tell it again for those who may not know my story. Is that okay? In '88, October '88, my mom passed away. Literally a week after that, the first week in November of '88, I was raped by somebody I thought was a friend. Then in '89, I was sexually assaulted on active duty by somebody I thought was a friend. There's a common theme with this, and they do say that most of the time that people are sexually assaulted or raped probably by somebody they already know. And in my case, in both cases, it was actually some bodies I knew that I thought were friends, you know. But because everything happened in such boom, 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 and let's take into effect that I was homeless at the time. Okay. And my family had totally turned their backs on me. So I'm like literally out on the street. So everything is happening boom, 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 like right behind one another. I did not have time to actually grieve the passing of my mother. I did not have the time to marinate on what happened as far as the rape is concerned, even the sexual assault. I didn't have that the chance, the opportunity to let everything sink in. All I knew was I had to keep going. And in order for me to do that, I had to actually push everything out. Push it out, push it down, push it somewhere where I couldn't see it, hear it, or feel it, you know? The problem with that is that I got comfortable. I got very comfortable with that whole situation, so when the little signs started creeping up and I started getting into using drugs because they started creeping up, you know, I'm like so not wanting to deal with it. And my drug of choice was sniffing cocaine. So it was one night. I was here in New York. I was living in the city with my cousin and her next door neighbor. We became close. We used to run the streets, copping cocaine and stuff like that. Well, one particular night, this is where the mental health kicked in. I was at home, I was in my room, and I don't know what turned on the flood works, but the tears just came and they just would not stop. At the same time, I was still shoveling coke up my nose. Okay. So I'm like, I couldn't. I couldn't. Everything I think just started, just hit me at once. And I couldn't stop crying, yet still sniffing cocaine and even trying to get more cocaine, because whatever it is I was going through, I was not ready to feel it. But something, oh, you welcome. Hey, Gonzo. Um, it's something in my mind, it just totally, totally, I don't know what set it off. I don't know what made it click, what set it off, you know? Could it have been the drugs? Of course. Could it been that? Of course. Could My guess it was a combination of both, you know? Hey everybody, that's my friend Gonzo. Say hi Gonzo to the nice people. Um so that wound up, I wound up in the Bronx VA psychiatric ward. And that kind of started my my getting it together, but not quite because I still quite wasn't ready yet. So I was still kind of dibbling and dabbling, you know. It wasn't until 2011, you know, I was living with a guy. He actually put his hands on me. And I was going to Montrose, VA, and I had my therapist out there, and I told her what happened. And next thing you know, I was shipped up state to, the only female veteran rehab center in Ellensville, New York. And I stayed. And there is where I actually really began not only just my recovery, but also with my therapy. I've been in therapy since, oh God, it seemed like forever, but I've been in therapy for many years. And we're just now getting into the prolonged exposure one. I'm still not sure if I'm ready yet, but you know, you suck it up. And for those of y'all that don't know what prolonged exposure therapy is basically where every session that I have with my therapy, I have to go into detail. I mean, extraordinarily detail of what happened that day, what happened, what was going on, What was I seeing? What was I smelling? What was I feeling? What was going on around me? You know, and that kind of therapy, like I said, we just started it, and I'm just like, I don't know. But, it's like my therapy said, whatever you feel, sit with it, you know, because that's going to pass, you know, and I'm learning to do that. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm learning. I'm learning how to sit with whatever emotion comes up. It's not easy, but I'm uncomfortable. But if it means that mentally that I can find some kind of middle ground, I'm not even going to say heal, because the sexual assault and the rape is something I'm going to have to deal with the rest of my life, you know. But if I can find a middle ground to where I can get a balance of peace, and using the tools that I got whenever I feel an unrest in my brain, I have the tools, you know. Mental health is no joke. It's no joke. You know, People kill themselves behind mental health issues, you know, and I also do, break the stigma, because a lot of times I know people, from the people that I've talked to, a lot of times they said they don't want to get the help because they don't want other people thinking that they're crazy, you know, and that's not the case. Just because you seek therapy doesn't mean you're crazy. Mental health issues is a chemical imbalance in your brain. That is something that we cannot control. You know, I mean, we can get the tools that we need to come to some kind of peace. When we feel unrest. But for the most part, this is that's out of our control. You know, I'm pretty sure if we all can reach our hand into our brains and put them circuits that are that's wired poorly and put them in their proper place, I think we'd all do that. But then the therapists be out of jobs, you know. So, but that is wishful thinking. I have issues with sleeping. I have a bad case of insomnia. And just so that you know, what my insomnia looks like is I can get up like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be up till about 6, 7 o'clock the next morning. I may lay down for about 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm up and at it again. And the thing is that I get tired, and I know I'm sleepy, but the minute I lay my head down, my eyes go, phew, you know, and that sucks, and I hate it. You know, um, it's a serious subject. It's a serious subject, and I'm glad Sherry and we started this last year. I mean, but last year it was more like a collab. This year is an event. Okay, welcome back, Sherry. Welcome back. You know, this year is an event. And we do have sponsors sponsoring this. Which I am grateful for, and I appreciate everything. You know, um, my friend Gonzo this is in here. He's helping me put together some kind of event for next year, like in the city of New York. You know, We're gonna do something big. He's helping me out with, you know, doing podcasts and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it, hun. Thank you so much. Um, I know I've reached out to Cheryl, and and told her thank you actually because it was her that inspired me to do an event when I saw her event Ticket to Paris and saw how beautiful it was, you know, and that inspired me to maybe, you know, do something maybe here in New York City, you know, where not only am I reaching out to, you know, the veterans, but I want to reach out to like maybe even the LGBT community because God knows they go through a lot, and I know they deal with a lot of mental health issues, you know, and I want this, I want it to be reached across, not just one specific set of people, but anybody and everybody that can relate to this issue, you know. Now the problem that I have, okay, like the people that don't really deal with their issues, and I know there are some, especially the narcissists, because the narcissists think they are above and better. But little do they know that narcissism is a mental health issue as well. You know, it's in the DSM-5 manual. Look it up. You know, and for those of y'all that don't know what the DSM-5 is, that's was it diagnostic statistical manual, and what it is for like, you know, they code every like mental illness. For certain illnesses there's a code for, and that's how you get charged, that's how you get billed for whatever it is. So if you got narcissism, and the code might be 12458.1, you know, that's how the health insurance bills you by that one code. So that's basically what the DSM-5 is. It's a coding manual to code different, and it's not just. I don't think it's just for mental, but I think it covers a wide range. But I learned about it going through what we call here in New York KSAC, was a Credential Alcohol Substance Abuse Counselor classes. And we learn about that. But at that point, we were still at DSM-4. They hadn't quite moved over to 5 yet. They were in the process of moving to 5. So now it's actually 5. I really haven't taken a good look at it, but I'm going to see. I have to look into it and see, you know, the changes that they made to it. But it's an interesting manual. So how's everybody tonight? How we doing? What's going? Again, like I said, I apologize. Technical difficulties. You know, hopefully I'll have it fixed by next week. Um, but I want to do something very special for next year, along with the mental health event, because I believe we're doing it again next year, right, Sherry? And I want it to be like in a conjunction with that, where we can just, reach out for people, reach out to people, let people know that they're not alone, you know, that there are other people. Cool. She said yes, we will be doing this next year. Okay, got you. Um, Okay, working and lurking. um, you know, we're not alone. A lot of times we feel, I know when I went through mine, I felt so alone, you know. My mother was gone, my sisters pretty much abandoned me and left me to die. Um, I felt alone. You know, I had nobody to talk to, nobody to comfort me, you know, and this is not a pity pot. This is just, saying what it was at the time. You know, I had nobody to comfort me. I had nobody to tell me, you know what, sweetheart, everything's going to be okay. This I had to do on my own, you know. And when I tell you that it's not easy, this wasn't easy at all, you know. This was so not an easy journey to take. I have a picture that I did with from Diamond Art Club. I don't know if you remember it, Sherry, but oh wait. I don't know if you remember Sherry, but I did a picture and it was by Chuck Pinson. It's called Strength Along the Journey. And in it has like this couple, well, not just couple of these people, they're kind of heading on into church, you know, and that actually spoke volumes to me because in my journey, the church was part of my journey. Hi, Diana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a gorgeous painting. It really is. I mean, confetti from hell, but it was a gorgeous painting, you know. And every time, because I have it hanging up in my she shed, and every time I I go in there, I stop and I have to look at it for a while, for a few minutes, because then that reminds me, you know, I was on that path, and that was the light at the end of my tunnel a lot of times, a lot of times. And yes, I'm an ordained minister, so that's a separate video, you know. But that was that was my strength along the journey. So when I saw that picture, I was like, I have to have it. And the minute I got it, I did it and I hung it up. And I'm like, see, that's it right there. That's it. My strength, you know. And that's the thing, when we deal with mental health issues, we have to know that there's some type of strength inside of us because we all have it. We just don't know where or even how to tap into that strength. Oh, Diana. Yeah, yeah. And I look at mine constantly. I look at mine's constantly. Dealing with the mental health, dealing with the drugs. I look at it and I stand there and look at it for a few minutes, and I'm like, yep, that was my strength along the journey. You know, we all got our strengths. We just don't know how to access it or how to tap into it or where it's at. You know, mine was actually going to church. Sorry to hear that, but yeah, with my mom, I had a rough journey with her too. Because when she was fatally ill, My sisters wouldn't even let me in the house to go see her, even though she requested to see me. I had to actually wait until she went to the hospital to go see my own mother. So, it's a rough road. It's a rough road. My mom had a little bit of dementia going on there too. Hers was not hers was not full full blown, but hers was due to her illness. But it wasn't full blown, you know, because I remember my sister telling me, when you go in, you're probably going to have to reintroduce yourself to her because she goes in and out, you know. So every time I go to see her and I introduce myself, she look at she gets I love my mom. She gives me a stupid ass look on her face, like I know who you are. It's like, bitch, please, I know who you are. You know, and I think that might have provoked a lot of jealousy out of my sisters because they had to do it from time to time. And anytime I went to go see her, she always knew who I was. She said, "You my baby." Um, what you introducing me? I was like, okay, just checking. Memory check, you know. But and it's hard. It's very hard. You know, I lost a lot of myself when my mom died. You know, and then I really lost myself when I was raped and sexually assaulted. I really I think that person, the person, the last sexual assault I had, really killed the rest of me. It killed the rest of me, and emerged cutting. I don't know who this person is, but you know what? I'm loving it and I'm rolling with it. Okay, but this is not the original me. The original me was always shy, quiet. You know, you look at me wrong, I cry. You know, my I was very sensitive, you know. But once that sexual assault happened, after everything else, you killed that person. That person dead, gone, and buried. Now arise. I almost kind of feel like the phoenix. Arise out of the ashes comes something new, something stronger, something better, you know. And I believe I said this at one point because I know I said it to my friend Gonzo. And my statement is, don't let your past be your present, you know. In other words, it's okay to go back to try and it's all right to go back in the past and try to, I want to say, kind of sort of fix things, you know, but don't get stuck back there. You're only there for a fleeting moment. It's like you do what you got to do and then bring it back, you know. And I hear a lot of people say, "Well, you don't need to be going to the past," but sometimes you have to go back to the past to fix the present. The thing is, you don't get stuck in the past. You know. Okay, Sherry. Thank you for being here. Anyway, Mama. You know, it's hard. So, what do you guys think? I'm putting it out there. What do you guys think about, you know, having to, go back to the past to try to correct things, but then don't stay there. You're only supposed to be there for a fleeting moment. You're not supposed to stay back there. You know, and like my heart goes out to the Judd family. You know, because I loved a lot of their music, and it really shook me to the core that the mama bear, was the one who committed suicide. I didn't even know she was dealing with any kind of mental health issues, you know? And that's one thing, because I think Sherry and I spoke about it. When you hear somebody, especially like a celebrity, when you hear somebody has passed away due to mental health issues, it usually means suicide. You know, that pretty much means suicide. You know, just like you hear people say, they lost their fight with drugs. Okay, so that tells me they overdosed. Or they drank themselves to death, one or the two. You know, but the thing is that I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning to love myself. And I guess that's why I'm not really in a relationship right now, because I still got a lot of me to fix, you know? I mean, eventually, do I want a relationship? Of course, you know? But only when the time is right. And I don't think the time is right now, you know? I talked little bit about it last night. You know, I was married for 2 years when I was in the military, and a lot of people always ask me what happened, and I always give them the short version. He cheated. Wound up marrying her too. I think they still married. I don't know, but wound up marrying her too after our divorce. But see, the thing is, I have to be fair here. I really have to be fair, you know, because he only cheated because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do as a wife, you know. He thought I was having an affair because he wasn't really getting nothing from me. So he automatically assumed I was getting it from somewhere else, but that wasn't the case. When you dealing with somebody that deals with, you know, rape or any type of sexual trauma, I'm not gonna say it all the time, but a lot of times you're gonna get that, you know, you'll get the hypersexual activity, and then it'll dive off, you know. I mean, it was fine when I was doing a one night stand, you know. I had that hypersexual activity going on. But the minute that I got married, then it was like, I don't want you touching me no more, you know. And like I tell people, I always thought it was me just I was being a thought. I was being a little hoe in the military streets. I was. But, looking back on it now, being in therapy, that's not really what it was. It was way I was reacting to the trauma, because you have certain categories. Like, you'll have the category where the female just don't want to be touched, period, point blank. She ain't doing a one stand nothing. You look at her and you might get a smack in the face. Okay. And then you got the other one, which that I fell into, was the hypersexual activity, you know, and basically what it all boiled down to was me always being afraid to say no, because the last time I said it, he took it anyway. So what's the purpose of saying no? Just take it and go away. You know, that was my thinking, you know. So that's for me, that's where the hypersexual activity came from. I was just afraid to say no because I'd rather give it to you than you take it. You know, I already have issues dealing with, the rape and the sexual assault. You know, I don't know if I'd have been able to withstand a third time. I, yeah, check out, you know. And a lot of people look at me knowing my story. They're like, my God, girl, and you still alive to tell about it. You know, I said, hey, I had help in that category, because if it was up to me, yeah, I wouldn't have even known Lisa Spencer existed. But somebody upstairs has a bigger, stronger, better, bigger plan for me, you know. So I'm a roll, I'm a rock with it. I'm a roll with it, you know. Okay, so come on, y'all. Let's get the conversation cracker lacking. What we saying? What we doing? What's going on? I know I've been yibber yabbering for a minute. I'm gonna let the floor have the floor. Oh, come on, y'all. Y'all don't get quiet on me now. you know. And look, I know looking at me you can't tell, but this puppy here, she's gonna be 57 in July. Dear God, make it stop. Make it go away. Go away. You know, I will be 57 in July. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm getting ready to step into my golden years. No, I'm not ready. She not ready. You know, hey, Leo season is upon us. Y'all better watch out for them cats. The big cats anyway. Yeah. But now I got this new scare, okay, which now has increasingly upped my anxiety. You know, it's my health. Okay. Now this whole time I'm thinking I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I ain't got no issues. Well, that don't seem to be the case either because about a month or so ago, I was sitting here at my table. I was diamond painting, and I noticed I got a little lightheaded. And then, like a few minutes later, I knew I had to go to the bathroom. When I went to the bathroom, my stool was black. So I reached out to my primary care, and she told me to go ahead, go to the ER. She said she was going to let them know I was coming. She said because she was concerned that I might be bleeding inside. So I go to the ER. I was so not ready for that proctology exam. I mean, I knew it was coming because I knew they had to check, but I was like, I was not ready. Another was my bunghole. But he's like, He said, "Well, yeah, your stool is black." So maybe because I was like the middle towards the ending of the week, so the beginning of the following week, my primary care reached out to me and she was like, doing a follow up to the ER visit. And she was like, so I go in to see her like a couple of days later. And she was like, I guess in 2018, I, I was going for some female things, but they noticed an abnormality in 2018, and they were supposed to do a colonoscopy then, but nobody bothered, you know. So this time she says we're going to get a colonoscopy because we need to know what's going on. My concern is cancer, So I'm like, oh crap. When I heard her say this cancer word, it was like my spirit jumped out my body. Like, what the hell is she talking about? You know, because it sounded so surreal. You know, and so I was like, okay. And the endocrinologist, because my cholesterol level is high. My cholesterol is like 279 right now. Um, so when I finally got the appointment for the colonoscopy, I'm thinking it's just for a colonoscopy. Ain't nobody said nothing about an endoscopy. It's like, no, when that come? What that happened? My poor therapist, she went my church. She's like, wait, what? She said, even here it says colonoscopy. I said, ain't nobody said nothing about an endoscopy. So I went and I got the endoscopy. See, there we go. Not telling me nothing. Okay. So I go for the endoscopy and the colonoscopy, and why people try to talk to you when you're not like in the right frame of mind, because they had to put me under. So, I'm still reeling, really reeling from the effects of anesthesia. And everybody want to have a conversation with me like I'm supposed to remember, right? But I do remember that she said, she didn't say it. I read it in my medical charts that I had anemia with bleeding, um, hemorrhoids. I have an ulcer with bleeding, and the polyps that they took from my colon. She said you had 14, and one was very big, you know. And from what I'm to understand, it was precancerous. So I got to go for another colonoscopy in 3 years because you're supposed to get it every 10. I think my first one that I had was 2015, so I really wasn't up for another one until 2025. But because there was an abnormality, now I have to go back every 3 years. As for the endoscopy, I have to go probably back in June because they want to see if the ulcer is healing. So now that brings on a whole new set of anxiety, right? And I'm just like, wow, okay then. Well, I, I have to do injections for my high cholesterol. I go in Monday. I have to go in Monday so that they can teach me how to stick myself with a needle. I'm not looking forward to that either. So my anxiety level is pretty up there, you know. But anyway, guys, like I said, I apologize for me being late. Um, I will be doing it again next week, same time. Hopefully, you know. if I can get away without the errors, technical difficulties, you know, the same time, um, Sherry's going to be doing her part Wednesday night, 7 o'clock her time, you know, and then I do mine's Thursday night, 9 o'clock my time, you know, and we just here to have a conversation. You know, I just want everybody to be able to participate in the conversation. Hint, hint, wink, wink. No, I'm only kidding. Um, but anyway, with all that being said, I wish everybody have a beautiful night. And until next week, stay safe, stay blessed, and we will see you again next week. Have a good night, guys.